Hey everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back.
This might actually be the last episode of this trial before we go into the additional case. So we're gonna probably sit through like most of the credits in this episode as well. So okay, so he was the man who shot Gregory Edgeworth.
It was Von Karma.
Oh man, something wrong, Mr. Wright? You seem dazed.
We've got another murderer in the courtroom.
No, Your Honor. Well, you have indicated the possibility that the murderer came from outside. Can you give us the name of your suspect? Uh-oh. Should I come out and say it now? Your Honor, there is a suspect. One lone suspect.
He immediately knows what's up.
Well, this is certainly interesting news. Very well, Mr. Wright. Who is your suspect? Oh, my hands are shaking. What? Von Karma. Von Karma?
It's like, Edgeworth like sits up, is like, excuse you?
You mean the Von Karma?
Well, there's only
the
three
prosecutor,
of them.
the one standing right over there.
Well, he's
Bah.
one of the only two Von Karmas, and we only have one of them here, so...
You don't object? I see no need. Why honor this ridiculous outburst with my objection? Because you took a vacation several months starting the day after the incident. You let your... Yet you pride yourself on a perfect record. Why would you take such a long vacation without any reason? So you're claiming that I took a vacation to heal my injury from the incident. Fascinating. Prove it.
We have one thing.
I would have to have needed surgery. No. Where did I go under the knife, Mr. Wright? Bring the doctor that operated on me. Have him testify.
We don't need to have a doctor. Nick, let's find out who his doctor is.
That's no use. Edgeworth? I know Von Karma perhaps a little too well. He's perfect and wouldn't leave clues. He probably didn't undergo surgery.
Oh, that's perfect.
That would leave a doctor as a witness. Nobody's that
off.
perfect.
Hats off, Miles, for his stellar thinking. So what, Nick? Did Von Karma pull the bullet out by himself? I don't think he could have done that. He wouldn't get... his fingers are huge. Have you seen that man?
Nah, he couldn't have. Can't just pull bullets out of yourself. Wait. That does mean that the bullet has to be somewhere, but where?
Oh, that iron poisoning has to be pretty bad.
Yeah, why do you think he's like always scowling? By the way, that was actually a hint really earlier in the game, because I wanted to bring this up the second it happened. So, remember the moment when he was doing the timer, and then he gets really upset? He grabs his shoulder in pain. Because it's like, ah! Yeah, like... And then when it shows, it was like, oh, he got shot in the shoulder. It's the same shoulder he grabs.
Oh, that's
And I'm like,
attention to detail.
I love that. I really like that.
That's some actually good detective work.
Yeah. It's a very good foreshadowing. I love it. Can you produce evidence to prove that I was shot?
Show the evidence! We have the perfect thing thanks to Gumshoes himself.
Alright, Von Karma, I'll prove it. And I'll even use evidence. I know you like it so much. What?
He's shaking.
The evidence that proves that Von Karma was shot is...
It's the metal
this
detector.
bird. Von Karma is perfect. He wouldn't risk surgery, leaving an evidence trail. So then I ask, where's the bullet now? I think it's unlikely that Von Karma performed surgery on himself.
Because he wasn't skilled enough to do that.
You don't mean? I do. There is a possibility that the bullet is still inside Von Karma. Is that even possible for all these years? Well, there's one way to find out. We can use this metal detector. Well, Von Karma, I'm gonna run this over you. Let's see what we find. It's such a
Because he knows it's still there.
Just saying, when I was playing this the first time and I saw that, I actually went, yeah! I was
Got him backed
so...
into a corner. Because if he objects to it, that means he has something to hide. And if he doesn't, we're gonna find the bullet.
I refuse.
You need a search warrant.
You refuse. But you're refusing, this means you acknowledge that the bullet is still inside you.
So we can either go for the search warrant route, which will take a month or two or more.
Order.
Or we can just hand wave this right now.
Here, let me just like, there we go.
In fact, we
Your
don't
Honor,
even need to touch him.
The defense requests that we be allowed to use the metal detector. Judge, I call for a suspension of this trial. It's an invasion of privacy.
We can't, because this is the last day of trial.
The statute of limitations runs out on this case today. It was you who said we had to end it right here, right now. Enough! I permit the use of the metal detector. Mr. Von Karma, you will submit yourself to testing.
Nick, what does this mean?
I don't know.
We won?
I don't know, but we have to give it a shot. Imagine if it doesn't activate. Something is inside his right shoulder. It's the bullet. Mr. Von Karma?
Edgeworth looks pissed.
You.
You took me in.
It was you.
You took me in and raised me.
I was afraid this was gonna happen. And so I remained silent. Indeed, there was a bullet in my shoulder. However, it has nothing to do with this incident.
You have to prove... So who shot you then?
I was shot in the shoulder. In the war.
Prove it!
You cannot claim that I wasn't in the war.
Yeah, we can. We can look up the records right now. I can have Maya run out and go look at them.
No, that is... I forget who I was watching who did it, but they literally yelled out, "You cannot prove I was in the war." I wasn't in the war. It's like... Yeah, we actually can, dude. But Von Karma, can you prove that? Prove?
Yes. Yes. Prove it like you have made us prove everything.
I have no obligation to prove anything. It is Mr. Wright who must prove something here, not I. Man, it sucks that we both have to prove our client didn't do it, while at the same time prove that our client did, that someone else did at the same time. Man, it's almost like the prosecutor's job is literally just to sit here and throw puzzles at us, and then we have to dodge all of the knives they throw at us. Mr. Wright? Well, can you prove it? Can you prove that the bullet in Von Karma's shoulder was from DL6? Of course he can't. You don't have any of the DL6 evidence. No, that's because you took it out of the record room the other day.
And tased us. We do.
With no proof, you cannot convict me of any crime. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. No, I'm the one who's sorry, Von Karma. What? You were close. 1 day away from freedom. But you see, I have proof. What? Who would have thought that you would dig your own grave trying to convict Edgeworth? I can link that bullet in your shoulder to the DL6 incident. And here is my final proof.
It's the bullet.
Make sure that you use the DL6 bullet and you don't accidentally use the pistol bullet. And make sure you don't accidentally use the pistol, because neither of those are actually related to this one. It is actually what the Jello Apocalypse video, where it's like, no, you can't show the banana peel. You have to show the picture of the banana peel. That is actually where that comes from, because there are so many times in which you have a piece of evidence looks exactly like another piece of evidence.
From the first Miles Edgeworth game, in which they give you the head of one of the costumes and a complete costume set of the other one, but yet the sprite art looks completely the same. So if you ghost over it without reading or thinking it, you'll mess up every time.
Oh my gosh, I'm just remembering Edgeworth is on Fire Part 2. Sir, I was thinking, I know a stretch. It's like, oh, I love you, gumshoes. Thank you. That's a bullet? Mm-hmm. Where did you get that? This is a bullet that was used in the GL6 incident. This was taken from the heart of the victim, Mr. Gregory Edgeworth. Yes, I know that there was not any compression of the bullet, but the bullet is preserved quite nicely with all the ballistic markings intact. Ballistic markings?
That means it faced no resistance.
You may recall the term. It came up in the first trial 2 days ago. Ballistic markings are the fingerprint of a weapon. All bullets fired from a gun are marked with that weapon's unique pattern. By examining the markings, you can tell which weapon fired the bullet. It's quite accurate. We have 2 bullets in our possession. One, the bullet removed from Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other, Mr. Von Karma, is the bullet buried in your shoulder. We could analyze both bullets. Then, if the markings matched, we would know that both bullets have been fired from the same gun. The very same pistol, in other words, the murder weapon that killed Gregory Edgeworth,
is the one sitting inside your shoulder.
Mr. Von Karma, you will let us remove the bullet from your shoulder, won't you?
It must hurt.
Then we'll compare the ballistic markings to those on this bullet and solve this case once and for all. You know, we're not even gonna talk about the iron poisoning, the degradation of the bullet over time.
The time it would take to actually do the lab work, which would be several hours, and by the time that work came back to us, the case would be over.
Yeah, but we're actually just like intimidating Von Karma to just confessing, honestly. Well, Mr. Von Karma?
He thumped it so hard, he twitched the bullet in his shoulder. Edgeworth looks so pissed.
That scream. I've heard that scream before.
That's
Wait,
the other proof.
I know.
Because it wasn't his father's scream.
Yeah, we're just into the chest. There we go.
He looks righteously angry.
It's the scream I heard in the elevator 15 years ago. Von Karma, it was you who screamed. My sprites swapped. Don't look at it too closely. Mr. Von Karma. Edgeworth? Only you would dare defy me? So it was you. You and your father are my curse. Your father shamed me with a penalty on my record. And you left a scar on my shoulder that would never fade. I will bury you with my bare hands. Death.
He's so over the top, you can see where Edgeworth gets it.
Chief Prosecutor, I'm sorry. Von Karma is not like you to make this kind of error. I never would have thought that Edgeworth would be the one to catch you. I was careless. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to be penalized. I've covered for you in the past, but not this time. Edgeworth. It was a shock like none I had ever known. Me, penalized.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have been bullying and badgering people if you didn't want to be penalized.
It took me hours for me to regain my composure. Suddenly, I found myself in the darkness. I was in the court records room. Must have wandered in there without thinking where I was going. The room was pitch black. The lights must have gone out. I went to the hall and found my way to the elevator. Pressed the button, but nothing happened. Then, there was a noise.
He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It was pain.
All of that could have been avoided if he didn't throw the gun.
Yeah. Congratulations, Edworth. You
are indirectly responsible, but you should not bear any blame. Because you did not know he was there, and he should have contained himself enough not to kill someone.
Yeah, unfortunately, accessory to murder probably wouldn't fly in court in this case, especially considering
Since he was an unconscious 10-year-old kid at the time of the killing.
Yeah. I was in pain. Horrible searing pain in my shoulder. But just then, the lights came back on. The elevator door opened before my eyes.
Ah. That makes sense. There was no forcing of the door.
I saw 3 people lying, all unconscious from oxygen deprivation. Much to my surprise, a pistol lay at my feet. I knew then it was my destiny.
You're a murderer.
In his last moments, Gregory Edgeworth was still unconscious. He died, never knowing who had shot him. Later, he spoke through a medium blaming Mr. Yogi. He was fooled. It was the perfect crime.
Because he wasn't even aware there was anyone nearby.
Who would have thought another man could have come to open the elevator door? Judge? Well, what? What are you doing? Do your job. Bring an end to this miserable charade.
I like that he's just giving up. Are you
Now,
actually
end
giving
it.
up? Please give up. I want this case to be over.
Very well.
I want to go for some burgers with Edgeworth. Let's go.
Burgers. Yeah. It appears that we have come a very long way to the end of this maze. 15 years later. Mr. Miles Edgeworth?
You're not.
Yes,
guilty.
Your Honor. You were innocent. You are innocent.
You can now sleep in peace at night.
As you said, it was all a nightmare. Yes, Your Honor.
I like that.
This court finds a defendant, Miles Edgeworth, not guilty again.
Oh, what a roller coaster.
That is all. Court is adjourned. Adjourned, yes.
It's over. Nick, we did it. We both got possessed. Did you see his face? Von Karma looked even paler than usual. He's pretending to be all cool, but inside you crushed him, Nick. Crushed. I gotta say I'm impressed.
Heh, it's pretty close though. Sure we had it.
I know, I was on the verge of tears the whole time myself. You were being pretty unreasonable, but now it's all just a good memory. Edward's like, I don't think it was a good memory at all.
So,
I'll have nightmares about this for years.
So it's finally over, Edgeworth. Right. Yeah?
You've saddled me with unnecessary feelings.
I'm not sure how to say this.
I know. Try thank you.
I see. Yes, that's what I was gonna say to. That's what I was gonna say to him.
He wipes the sweat off his brows like, yes, thank you.
Like I said, everyone in the universe ships these two, except those two.
And it's so ridiculous. I bet even the judge thinks that they're actually married and trying to be covert, because that's the type of person
Edgeworth, what's your husband? What? Who's that?
No, he just like goes like completely red, is like, I don't have one.
I will have you know that I have never dated in my life. Really, that's actually kind of sad. Yeah, it is kind of sad. Thank you, Wright. You're welcome.
I think you could have done better than that.
Sorry, I'm not too good at this sort of thing.
Probably because you're an unsociable introvert and you don't actually like other people. That's probably why you're not good at that. You got a lot to learn, Edgeworth.
Got you there. Woo!
It's just
Amazing, pal. You pulled through just like I thought you would. And I'll never forget this. I owe you one, pal.
it's
And
like
tonight, let's party. Dinner's on me. Yeah, my salary went down a bit this month, but who cares?
See, Mr. Edgeworth, you should take a lesson from Detective Gumshoe. That's how you say thank you.
I see.
So would this technically
Woo!
never do that? No, he's still got
Okay.
the scowl. He's like,
Look at Edward right here.
"Whoa."
Look at how he looks.
He's
The
never
only
gonna
thing I
look-
think of is, okay, so whenever I look at Edgeworth, especially when he's actually doing something non-serious, I immediately think of him going from his deep, serious British voice to suddenly becoming spoony. And especially when he's doing stuff like this where he's just like, woo! It's just like, dude, calm down. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just being myself. What are you talking about? It's like, Edward, you don't have to do this. Oh, okay. Man, I feel foolish.
Don't worry, take it a little at a time. You'll get used to it. I won't judge you for it much.
It's been 15 years since I seen Edward so unguarded.
What are you doing here? Hey, y'all! Lada! What are you doing here? Y'all were great in there.
Thanks.
Yo, Edgeworth, congratulations.
Thank y'all very much, I guess.
Never do that again. I knew you were innocent from the start, of course. No, you didn't. Just look at you. You wouldn't stick your hand in the cookie jar even if no one was there. That's a lie. He would steal if it meant innocent, if it meant a guilty verdict. He would absolutely steal because he's done that before.
You were the witness on the first day of the trial, weren't you?
Yeah, well, let bygones be bygones, eh?
Speaking of which, what are you doing now, Lotta?
Who, me? I went back to college. I gave up trying to be an investigative photographer pretty quick.
Really? Ah, that's too bad.
Huh? Isn't that the hot dog guy from the park?
Huh? It's over, Nick. My life is over.
I just imagine him rushing over, hugging Phoenix, detaching, and trying to hug Miles, who suddenly becomes bored-like. He's like,
Who is this weirdo hugging me? Oh, Larry, what are you doing here? Oh, Nick, I'm not too long for this world. You don't look sick. It's Kiance. She's gonna live in Paris. Paris,
you're gonna
Nick.
lose another girlfriend to Paris?
She's leaving me behind. I should have seen that one coming. Yo, Reggie, there you are. Yes, I am.
Do I know you?
Congrats, Edgy. Here's a little gift from me in celebration. Celebration? Well, that's unusual for you. Harry Butts, you've come along to my treat, pal. Huh? Oh, yeah, thanks. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Nick. That's the suit that questioned me. When he says treat, that's like not police talk for prison food, right? I think I'll be fine, Larry. Right. Yeah? What's up? That envelope Larry gave me, it's got money in it.
What should I do? What did I do to get paid?
Well, yeah, that's not strange. People give money to celebrate sometimes. It's got $36, right?
38.
38.
I see I'm not the only one who can't read
Huh,
numbers.
that's a weird amount. It's not a little, but it's not a lot either. $38 exactly?
Nick? Wasn't that the exactly the amount of lunch money that was stolen from Mr. Edgeworth in school?
Yes. No. No, Larry, it was you?
I just imagine Phoenix walking over, just shaking him by the throat. It's like, I was almost expelled thanks to you.
And then it's like that scene from an airplane where it's like, oh, you're needed. And like, and then Phoenix moves over and Edward starts shaking him.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna keep shaking him.
What were you so surprised about, right? Huh? Larry was absent that day from school, right? But that doesn't automatically rule him out as a suspect. What? Think back to that day 15 years ago. Larry took the day off, but he was bored, so he came into school anyway. Then, he saw the money lying there, and the rest was history.
So you're a
I'm
truant.
good at history.
So you're a truant and a thief.
Edward, you didn't know, did you? I suspected.
But you were still friends with him?
I just couldn't picture Larry protecting you like he did that day. Anyone else? Well, everyone else was saying the whole class was against you, remember? Yeah, too well. Right, you may not know this, but when we used to have a saying back in school. When something smells, it's usually the butts. Yes, I know. Really, right? I'm surprised you didn't figure it out.
He's just glaring at him. It's like,
Well, I'm sure this was an unexpected turn of events, eh?
It's like Miles is trying to think if he should strangle him or demand interest, or just leave it be because he's actually in a good mood.
Edward? You should have told me.
Now, Nick, it was 15 years ago. Don't you think the statute of limitations has run out? Edward?
Yes, I'd say so, yes.
Eh.
Well, there you have it. Where does that leave me? I became a defense attorney because of what you two did. Well, you have always been something of an insufferable emotionalist.
Well, that's a
You
nice
get
word.
worked up too easily as well. Death. The death sentence for both of you. Man, if I only had known I'd become a prosecutor. Same goes for me, and the only way around.
What an interesting
Okay,
AU there.
There was actually a really great story of Phoenix wearing a blue version of Edward's outfit,
I think I've seen it.
and
That is so
Miles
cool.
Edward wearing a regular t-shirt to a courtroom.
Just because he's just so
Yeah,
laissez-faire
he's just
about
like
the whole
he's
thing.
just like laid back,
He
and
can't
he's
be
just
bothered.
like, and he's just like, he throws evidence out of nowhere because his entire thing is he's bluffing, and he talks about it being like,
Off the cuff.
yeah,
But
he's,
yet he has no sleeves.
no, he is talking about it like it's actually like a poker game where he is throwing out evidence as a bluff to get them to mess up, and it's like,
Oh, I
oh,
like
that's
that.
actually kind of cool.
Oh,
Of a premise.
I want that. Where can I find that?
I can't remember. It was a long time
Because I know
ago.
I've seen an image, but it was like a reposted one.
It
so
was
I can't
before
find it.
2010. Like, it was before 2010, so it was like a long time ago.
I want that. I want that framed.
For the longest time, I thought I might have killed my own father. I thought I might be a criminal. I became a prosecutor in part to punish myself. If only I had known the truth, I might have become a defense attorney after all. Edward,
Oh, that's so cool.
want to switch, right?
You'll have your turn to switch. Don't worry about that. Hey, y'all, line up. I'll take a photo. Hey, photo time. Let's go.
And after that, dinner's on me. Detective Gumshoe took us out on the town that night, celebrated Edward's newfound freedom, even though Edward himself was still in detention.
So they just snuck him out to have dinner?
No, they left him there and went out to celebrate without him. That is the funniest part about that whole thing. Oh, Well, overboard yesterday. My head hurts.
So you're hung. Oh, so this is like the
Man, I
the
shouldn't have
G-rated-
drank too many colas.
I should have put down that fruit punch, or at least the third one.
Yeah. Throwing something away for a second.
I got it.
Yeah.
You get that.
It's only 5. Maybe I should go back to sleep. What's this? A letter?
Good morning, Nick. You were really impressive yesterday. Seeing you... It made me think about what I'm doing here. I'm a spirit medium in training, of course. I wanted to help Mr. Edgeworth too. I wanted to help you. But I couldn't. I was useless. So I've decided to go back to my training. I'll become a full-fledged spirit medium for starters. I couldn't say it to your face, so I left this letter. Goodbye, Nick. And there's a second one from Edgeworth. Friday night, 7 o'clock. Be there or don't talk to me ever again.
He's probably trying to break out of prison. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Goodbye. Oh, what time is it? First train for the mountains. I've already left. To the station. I guess I'm too late.
Hey, Nick!
Maya? So, you're leaving?
Yeah. It's hard being a spirit medium who can't talk to spirits.
And
And I think you'll do fine without me, Nick. Be good, okay?
wait,
What?
I never could have stayed at Edgeworth without your help.
Huh?
On the last day of the trial, I heard her, Mia's voice.
You heard my sister?
Yeah, only her voice, but still. It was at the very end when I thought we had lost everything.
Well, that's my sister for you. Upstaging me. In every part of my life. Detective Gumshoe helped, and even Mr. Grossberg, and even Larry. I'm the only one who couldn't help. I was useless, Nick.
But you were the one who stopped Von Karma, Maya.
Huh? I didn't do anything. All I did was wander around in a daze.
Sorry, but I have evidence that you helped.
Evidence?
Show Maya some evidence to cheer her up.
It's a picture of her dead mom. A bullet?
Von Karma was convinced that he had taken all the evidence pertaining to Deal 6. But you were the one who rescued the last piece of evidence we needed. This was the bullet that put an end to Von Karma. And you were the one who gave it to me.
Nick?
Thanks, Maya. Couldn't have done without you.
I'll be back soon.
Huh?
I'm going to complete my training and come back.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
Of course you will. You can't run that office by yourself. You're hopeless.
Yeah, I don't know about that. No, I got like an old cowbell set up.
So, this is it.
See you soon, Maya.
She should be crying way harder in that. And that's it. There we go. There's the tears. Thanks, Nick.
Okay, so at this point, so my story ends. Time to turn a new page and say goodbye to the novice defense attorney that I once was, and now a new story begins. With the same old crazy cast of characters,
Sweet.
such as... don't think you've graduated yet.
Amateur.
Mr. Wright, do you think you could, rethink your claim? Yeah, Your Honor. I got a bad feeling about this. Yeah, so this whole thing is just going through characters, so we're not really gonna read it per se.
So should we give our thoughts about the game that we've had?
Yeah. So this would have been the normal end of the game. He then hung his head low and went right back outside.
I love Gumshoe. Him and Miles just have a pure friendship that should never be tainted or altered in any way.
So, if this was the end of the game and that this was the final episode, what would your thoughts have been?
It's a perfect wrap-up to the themes of the game.
Now, think about this. I originally gave this game, man, this is like a 10 out of 10 before, I more or less valued 10 out of 10 as like an actual thing. I give this and the next game both a 9. I give the third game a 10. It is one of my top 10 favorite games of all time.
I give it an 8. I would give it a 9, but the thing that brings it down is the way Phoenix lost evidence at almost every turn. I'm like, that was
It
frustrating.
feels a little bit too gimmicky where it's like,
it's not
I'm
just
using this
gimmicky.
piece of evidence to unlock the next piece, and then he gets rid of it.
And I believe that there should be another way to lose evidence than Phoenix being the world's worst.
The Bellboy's still talking about the affidavit.
I think that there should have been something else done where it could have been taken from us. Von Karma could have had an assistant that we didn't know about who took it from us in that moment.
Oh, like someone working for the court where it's like, okay, we're
in
gonna
the
process some stuff, and then it's like,
And
oh,
you don't even need to show them. It could have just been one of the other officers in the building, which would have made sense because he paid everyone off and badgered them until they did what he wanted. It's not too crazy of a stretch to say that Von Karma had some assistant somewhere that took the evidence, and in the fight and struggle for it that ensued, the taser came out. Maya swiped the bullet and it was done. It shouldn't have felt like you lost evidence because Phoenix is 2 cents shy of a single cent. You know, it could have made the player feel smarter for having stuff.
sorry, I had the switch shirts in the background because I was overheating.
And so, you know, it shouldn't feel like you're being penalized for showing information.
There is a few times
But
in
apart
which,
from that, the game's stellar, and it's amazing, and I love it.
I thought it was in this game that you get penalized for pressing statements. It's probably the next game.
That'll be fun.
Believe it or not, it's not this game that people consider the worst Phoenix Wright game. Ironically, the one for the 3DS is considered the worst Phoenix Wright game. Because there was 2 cases that feels like a slog to get through. And the only good case is the one at the very end of the game. Which, if you don't know, that is the one in which Apollo Justice basically goes, oh yeah, I wanted to be an astronaut when I grew up. I forgot to tell everyone. It's like, what? You've never talked about this before? It's like, yeah, part of my backstory is this whole thing. It's like, again, you've never talked about this before.
The only one whose backstory changes more than Phoenix Wright's revolving door of motivation is Apollo's. It's like, I thought you and your dad, yeah, but that doesn't matter anymore. It's like, obviously. But this game, apart from that gripe I have with losing evidence through no fault of the player's own, because I would have never thought to give up the paper in a million years. I
There
would
you go.
not have shown.
Executive producer Shinji Mikami from Capcom.
Aww.
And that's the image she took. Also,
That
Gumshoe the entire time has been the one throwing the confetti. Which
I
I love how that is a continued piece of continuity. That Gumshoe
yeah!
is the one throwing the confetti at the end, and it's like, oh, that's actually kind of funny.
It's adorable, really. All right, and so apart from that minor gripe I had about losing the evidence, because that should not have happened. This game is amazing, and I would say people should play it.
Yeah.
Because it's a good game. It's got some good puzzle-solving stuff. You just have to kind of take your brain out and wash it. And apart from that, it's fine.
So,
it's like, forget what you know about actual law. Just chalk it.
So,
and read stuff.
We now have one more case to do, which was added into the DS version of the game because they wanted to add a bunch of like new touchscreen mechanics. Of like how to like interact with items and like a bunch of other things.
Oh, so you
it also
actually
added
get to
in the
tilt
hold
stuff?
down a button and you could yell objection to like present the item, which was actually very fun to do on the third game, just saying.
That is fun.
So, next time we will actually be diving straight into episode 5.
All right.
See you guys then.
See you guys then. Bye.
Bye.